Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I am Aphrodite, aka Madam Suave. If you are new here, I would like to welcome you to the community. Be sure to check the description box down below and like, comment, share, and subscribe if you feel called to. So I'm not going to waste too much time getting into this message. I need to eat expeditiously because when I am in the zone, stepping away is an impossible task. So if my stomach gets to growling or sounds a little grumpy, just know that I do love you, okay? So, the title of today's message is Listen, Don't Speak. The title is also an instruction, okay? Speak neither here nor there, for any word that flows out be that of a fool, and go down in my report, for the report of the council hath already been established. So I was meditating upon the grievances and burdens of God and thought to myself, God is not a God of surprise. Man is without discipline. So he grieves not after the fact, he grieves in the moment. And if he grieves in the moment, then he has already grieved. For every sacrifice amongst and of the righteous is a sacrifice he has already made. And there lies no death in the fall of the unrighteous and corrupt to grieve, for they are like unto a fool, godless and morally corrupt, despising all things that liken unto the image of God. So liken unto means to make into, reform, transform, renew. Just as anointing is intentional and ministers to or guards against the spirit, evil is deliberate and holds on to what is familiar. So vanity without righteous action and renewal is unmasked wickedness in the eyes of the Lord, and the pride of the proud, reckless foolishness. Cult chambers always give the same unsettling chills. Behold, happy is the man whom God correcteth, therefore despise not the chastening of the Almighty. The way of the slothful man is an hedge of thorns, but the way of the righteous is made plain. To be corrected by God is to be transformed and aligned with the path of righteousness. To run from it is to be at the mercy of his wrath. Call now, if there be any that will answer thee, and to which of the saints wilt thou turn? For wrath or resentment killeth the foolish man, and envy slayeth the silly one or the fool. I have seen the foolish taking root, but suddenly I cursed his habitation. His children are far from safety, and they are crushed in the gate. Neither is there any to deliver them. El Shaddai, the master creator and the master of the game. God is not burdened by the stumble of the righteous, for the righteous are purged, not burned by the fire. Graced by wisdom, risen in his spirit, and stands up righteously. Their strength, like the resurrection of ash from everything burned and stripped away, formed into the unbending nature of an unmovable tree, planted firm in soils abounding. God is far more burdened by anger, the covert turned pervert, poking and preying upon his sheep because of the embarrassment of exposure and fear of accountability, who are aware of and acknowledge the authority but cannot adhere, and who certainly cannot be obedient to it. For even the wrath of God is quiet before sudden, calm and calculated. For I must first deploy my raft, because if I unleash war onto my own territory, I've got to be prepared to protect and move to higher grounds and new territory. Meaning the place that I am headed has already been established, because my spirit go before me in wisdom that my flesh simply surrenders and aligns. Because though I am equipped for war, my nature is peace, and I am burdened when the two do not agree, and when the ill-equipped who cannot silence their internal war and battle of demons come to disturb my sheep. Because to poke and provoke, especially in a space where you have very clearly been made aware that you are not welcomed through the unsanctioning of God, bound on earth as it is in heaven, is the equivalent to tempting God, and you are no victim. You are a pervert and a predator, and a very loud one at that. The covert is to be pitied with disgust when facing the torment of shame and truth of itself, but we sympathize not with the wicked and the dead, because it is equivalent to condoning corruption and creating tares for the capture of the sheep. And if there be a tear in you, may you mend it before tending, lest you make a greater tear and aid in the attempts of the wicked. So the sheep are like God's revenue and income, souls being recovered to safety and home. So I want to emphasize recovering, not winning over. Recovering, not winning over, okay? And there is a difference. For my sheep know and hearken unto my voice. So handle them with care. So, peaceful or holy wrath is that of a double edged sword, convicting the righteous into the loving arms of God while simultaneously condemning the corrupt without overextending effort because the truth makes them irate. But if your flesh overcomes you and you forget to steward with purpose, you turn the sword on yourself. So go into consecration, rest, and be refined. Okay. A soft answer turneth away wrath, but grievous words stir up anger. So, soft here meaning bridled, secure, and stewarded with wisdom, not the compromise or absence of truth, because compromise to avoid accountability is rampant wickedness on the loose, playing holy and inciting mockery. The tongue of the wise useth knowledge aright, but the mouth of fools poureth out foolishness. The eyes of the Lord are in every place, beholding the evil and the good. A wholesome tongue is a tree of life, but perverseness therein is a breach in the spirit. A fool despiseth his father's instruction, but he that regardeth reproof is prudent. In the house of the righteous is much treasure, but in the revenues of the wicked is trouble. The lips of the wise disperse knowledge, but the heart of the foolish doeth not so. So this verse is not simply to separate the wise from the fools, those who can speak and those who cannot, for even birds can repeat, but to say, if you do not do what you speak or preach, then you are indeed a fool with lack of knowledge and of understanding, because you cannot disperse what you do not have, and you cannot show what you do not know, because both require action. So, literacy does not reverse spiritual dumbness, also numbness, deafness, death, and corruption, but death corrupts literacy and exposes the spiritually dumb. So, literacy is not revelation. Literacy without structure and understanding is incoherence. And without the use or understanding of relevancy and correlation, there is neither. The sacrifice of the wicked is an abomination to the Lord, but the prayer of the upright is his delight. So I'm going to briefly break down why this is an abomination, okay? And I pray that you catch it. So, sacrifice of the wicked, right? Why is a sacrifice of the wicked an abomination? Because when we think about cost, you have to understand, why are you doing what you are doing, right? It is the cost to gain. So the cost is not the issue here. It is the focus of the price and what is to gain. You are doing it to gain, okay? So the sacrifice of the upright is the tax of righteousness. So there is no loss. The soul is being redeemed, okay? So though there is a spiritual obligation, the upright do not work to fulfill obligation. They live to fulfill the spirit and the nature of their spirit. So one is rooted in life, the other fear, and that is the work of Satan, who lives in a constant state of fear, knowing there is no promise of life to the corrupt of spirit because there is no soul to redeem, okay? So the way of the wicked is an abomination unto the Lord, but he loveth him that followeth after righteousness. Correction is grievous unto him that forsaketh the way, and he that hateth reproof shall die. Hell and destruction are before the Lord, how much more than the hearts of the children of men? A scorner loveth not one that reproveth him, neither will he go unto the wise. Better is little with the fear of the Lord than great treasure and trouble therewith. Better is a dinner of herbs where love is than a stalled ox and hatred therewith. A wrathful man stirreth up strife, okay, so suffers from their own conflict and spreads chaos. But he that is slow to anger appeaseth strife. We call that return to sender. Let them wrestle in their own vomit, okay? The enemy cannot reach you unless you lower yourself to his level. That is why they scream so loudly. So you continue to go higher so that they scream louder and let hell reveal itself, okay? So without counsel, purposes are disappointed, but in the multitude of counselors, they are established. The thoughts of the wicked are an abomination to the Lord, but the words of the pure are pleasant words. Meaning the words of the wicked are null and void because your thoughts speak louder, and over your words, the shouts of your demons can be heard, and the intentions behind your actions are already known by and void of God, you blasphemous creatures. He that is greedy of gain troubleth his own house, but he that hateth gifts shall live. The heart of the righteous studieth to answer, but the mouth of the wicked poureth out evil things. The Lord is far from the wicked, but he heareth the prayer of the righteous. He that refuseth instruction despiseth his own soul, but he that heareth reproof getteth understanding. The fear of the Lord is the instruction of wisdom, and before honor is humility. Meaning your actions have been irreverent, and the presence of fear a strong or storm warning. The wise seeketh covering under the counsel and the correction of the Lord, Noah, but the puffed and the proud get swept under the waves. So that is the end of today's message. I hope that you got something from this message. I hope that you enjoyed this message. Again, listen, don't speak. All right. If you enjoyed this message, I do ask that you like, comment, share, and subscribe if you feel called to. And I will see you guys on next time. I love you all so much. Bye.